This is a pretty rough Game Boy I got on eBay for $15 that I'm hopefully able to salvage the screen from to use in that graphite Game Boy from the previous video. When I say rough, I do mean that. It's in a completely faded condition, it's got cracks all on the back, and I feel like the thing's going to fall apart on me as I take it apart. I could see in the listing that the cartridge bay was cracked, which means that the sticker is probably the only thing holding on. I showed in my previous video this graphite Game Boy, which has unrepairable screen leak. So I'm hoping to take the screen from that blue Game Boy and put it in here, and also get some other parts. As in the previous video, I'm going to be using a Phillips 00 and Y0 bit, starting with the Phillips 00 to remove the battery cover. Now I'll remove the 6 Y0 screws. And would you look at that, the thing's already fallen apart. There's a whole chunk missing right where the shoulder button goes in on the left side. So yeah, that's pretty rough. Let's see how it looks when I pull the bottom part off. You can see here that that shoulder button isn't being held in properly like it is on the right side. So you could pretty much consider this shell junk at this point. Since this is a 101 unit, I'm going to do what I can to salvage the board and the screen. This pink stain here shows that it is water damage as well. The further I get into this thing, the more pieces are falling off of it. This board is filthy. The power button has hair all in it, and so does the volume slider, so I'm going to be using 99% isopropyl alcohol and cleaning it up as best as I can, and I'll speed up that process. I'm also going to remove the board just to clean where the buttons are as well. Let's see how bad that looks. And it's filthy. So I need to remove that ribbon cable like I did before. And I'm just going to go ahead and finish breaking this thing down. I'm going to remove this screw here to break down the hinge, and then I'm going to go ahead and just take the screen apart. I think maybe this thing was around a lot of salt water or something. I'll now be using that Y0 bit to remove these 5 screws, and I'll set those aside in a conspicuous place. Now let's see how well the top of the shell will fare. As you might expect, it's not good. This took about as much force as it would to break a potato chip. But, you know, since I've got a few extra Game Boys, I'm going to take this 101 sticker. So I'm just going to use this hairdryer here, and I'm going to make a zombie Game Boy using a 001 shell and a 101 screen and board. Usually once you heat stickers well enough, they should pull right off. I like to just stick them onto some wax paper. Now for a deep clean, and I'd say it's very important to use 99% isopropyl alcohol because the 91% can have enough water that it can potentially cause issues. I have specifically had 91% isopropyl alcohol stain those little water notifiers pink. I've got this blue 001 from the previous video here that I think might actually look pretty cool as a shell mashup. So that's the only reason why I'm going to be reusing that 101 sticker. Since that 001 shell will now have a 101 board and screen inside of it. Just a quick tip, you can actually tell the difference in screen because the 001 has more of a gray screen in direct light and the 101 has a black screen. I placed the 101 sticker on the 001 bottom part, and I'm going to use this 101 board and the best parts of both shells that I could find to make this new Frankenstein Game Boy. I am left with in effect now a really rough 001 and a pretty nice 101, both of which I'll probably just sell on eBay for a pretty decent rate. Though this thing does look like hell, believe it or not, it still plays just fine. Even that left shoulder button works perfectly fine. So I would probably just sell this thing as for parts are not working, and somebody will have nice internals that they can just put into a new shell. You could consider this the same Game Boy I started with, but now it just has a little bit nicer of a shell. I actually really do like this color combination, and even though the internal part of that is a little bit worn, it gives it kind of a look that I'd call a patina. Almost like you'd see on an old classic truck or car. I ended up swapping the screen from that graphite Game Boy into this one as well, so that graphite Game Boy now has a little bit less screen leak. They both do have screen leak, but that graphite unit now is quite a bit more playable in my opinion. And the ultimate question was, can I get a new screen for this Game Boy for cheap? And yes, I did. Though it's not perfect, it's still a lot better than the previous screen. This one's not too bad at all. It's got a little bit on the bottom left and top right corner, but it's really not very noticeable, and the color isn't nearly as washed out. And there you have it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.